Hello everybody, this is Napa Fan here, and this is qualifying from the Daytona International Speedway, getting ready to set the starting lineup for the penultimate race of the season for the Valvoline 400 tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Napa Fan. The Turkey Hill Series just finished up their race earlier tonight. We got some nighttime qualifying here for the penultimate race of the season, 29th race. It's uncharted qualifying here for the Valvoline 400. But the big story is, tomorrow night, Nathan Baird could clinch the Chick-fil-A Cup Series Championship for a second straight year. He comes into this race 41 points ahead. And I'm joined alongside Luke Rainey. Great to have you on the broadcast for this weekend's Chick-fil-A Cup Series race. And Nathan Baird is in a position that all he really needs to do is finish ahead of Shane Lake, Alexander Salazar, and those guys, and he's going to clinch a championship tomorrow night. What do you think he's going to do to manage tomorrow's race here at Daytona?
I don't really know if he can manage it, but ultimately he just needs to control what he can control. You know, he can't control how aggressive everyone else is around him, but just making sure that he's not putting himself into any risky situations. You know, we already know we're going to see a lot of probably some 4 wide moves in this race tomorrow night. So it's just a product of the Daytona. But if he's smart for himself, he just needs to trust that everything will work out and he'll be fine.
We'll have to see how it all goes down tomorrow. Of course, we'll get qualifying for the rest of the drivers here in a moment. But first, uncharted qualifying, and this will be the last run for a few of these guys in a Cup car this season. Nick Smith in the 07, Mark Allen, who won the Turkey Hill Series last weekend at Gateway in the 08, Jake Rogers in the 21, Daniel Voyles, see here in the 55, first driver to complete a lap here in qualifying. Seth Cole in the 57, Trey Smith, who's the points leader over in the Turkey Hill Series, still, even after the race we just had, managed to hold on, but he's only got 5 points, and Carter Friesen over there. Zach Rogers in the 71, and Joshua Rush in the number 98. Of course, here in qualifying at Daytona, when we do the group qualifying, of course, when we did the Daytona 500 qualifying earlier, we did single car qualifying. Here for this race, it's group qualifying, so it's completely different than what we saw back in February. But for these guys, if you get a draft on the guy ahead of you, you're going to get a good time. This is all there is to it. This is the nature of this racetrack. Full throttle the whole way around. Speeds pushing about 220 for these guys, since we do not run restrictor plates at Daytona and Talladega in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. So definitely looking forward to see how this all goes down as Zach Rogers goes to the top of the board in the number 71. Him along with Jake Rogers, the 2 fastest guys so far here in uncharted qualifying for the Valvoline 400.
Yeah, and it looks like Zach Rogers, I mean, you talked about with that draft, he just got in line behind the 55 and basically just sucked up to him during his first couple laps of qualifying, and that's what got him at the top of the charts here. And he is running in a group of 3 right now, and obviously you're not safe until the time runs out, especially with uncharted qualifying. A lot can change from now to whenever a scoreboard starts showing 4 zeros. So Rogers, he's just running in this group. I do like his chances right now of making it into the show.
And he, along with Jake Rogers, still the 2 fastest drivers. And Zach Rogers has went to the top of the board once again. And Jake Rogers improved his time at a draft there from Trey Smith. We'll have to see what Trey Smith can do here. I don't believe Smith has taken a full time. Well, he has. It's a 98 of Josh Rush, who had yet to take in a full time, but he has done so as well. And we'll have to see what the 67 can do. He improves up to 4th, but not enough to beat out Jake Rogers' time that time around. But we'll have to see what he can do right here, because he is pulling right up to the back bumper of Jake Rogers. We'll have to see if that 67 of Trey Smith can actually race in all 3 races here at Daytona this weekend. Of course, he was in the Turkey Hill Series race an hour ago, and will be in the Turkey Hill Truck Series race tonight. And if he can qualify his way on right here, he'll be in tomorrow's Cup race. And the 55 of Daniel Voyles and the 98 of Joshua Rush just went to the top of the board. They took the top 2 positions away from Zach Rogers and Jake Rogers. We'll have to see, though, what the 67 can do. He had a great lap right there, pulling up to the back bumper of Jake Rogers at the stripe. He will improve to the top of the board. Trey Smith, Daniel Voyles, currently the top 2 guys here in uncharted qualifying.
Yeah, no surprises there. You mentioned they just pulled up to him that lap. I mean, those 2 together, they look like they are super fast. I hope they can both make it into the main event, but right now I am concerned about the 21 sitting in 5th place. That's a little bit hairy for him. He's got to try and do a little bit better than that.
And Zach Rogers just improved to the top of the board. So now Zach Rogers and Trey Smith hold on to the 2 top positions here in uncharted qualifying. There's the other guys, Seth Cole all by himself there. The 08 machine of Mark Allen and the 07 of Nick Smith have not been able to get a good draft. It's basically going to be between the 21 now of Jake Rogers and the 67 of Trey Smith, because Jake Rogers went to the top of the board, getting that push from Trey Smith, and Trey Smith improved his time to defeat Zach Rogers. So now it's Jake Rogers and Trey Smith in the 2 transfer positions. We'll have to see if these guys improve at all this time around. That's going to be their last chance, most likely. And they do! Daniel Voyles and Joshua Rush to the 2 top positions here at Daytona. It keeps on changing, and we'll just have to see if these guys can improve their time. They've been sticking with each other here, but I don't know if they're going to have enough help across the line to complete their final lap in uncharted qualifying. Jake Rogers, Trey Smith do not improve their time. It'll be Daniel Voyles and Joshua Rush advancing on to the Valvoline 400 here in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series for season number 9. Wow. All over the place there at the end. Daniel Voyles once again in a Chick-fil-A Cup Series event, along with Joshua Rush in the number 98. Those 2 drivers will join the other 40 full-time drivers here for qualifying in the Valvoline 400. Who's going to win the pole for the penultimate race of the season tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time? Let's go ahead and see who gets it here from Daytona. And here we go. Pole qualifying for the Valvoline 400. Gonna be tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. 32 laps of action. A very, very short race. All things considered, for it being the penultimate race of the season. However, we could see ourselves a champion be clinched tomorrow with Nathan Baird in the number 16 coming in 41 points behind if he leaves Daytona with a 48-point lead or more. He will clinch the Chick-fil-A Cup Series championship for a second year in a row. But it doesn't feel that long ago when he clinched his championship last year either. Might as well be a week. Either way, it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. And with the range and the ratings, we mentioned this in the Turkey Hill Series, and we saw this in the Turkey Hill Series when Mitchell Collins led 15 of the 20 laps in the race to go on the win. Where you start's going to mean a lot, especially considering that it's only a 32-lap race tomorrow night, not 50 laps like the Daytona 500 was earlier in the season. So these guys definitely want to get those good starting positions if they're going to have a good opportunity at possibly winning tomorrow night's race. It's a big race, Valvoline 400, one of the technical crown jewel events of the season. I mean, we got a lot of guys, only 2 races left in the season, who want to get a race victory, but then you got Nathan Baird there in the number 16, who's trying to get a championship. How aggressive are these guys going to be tomorrow on this 32-lap race?
Well, I think for Nathan Baird, the aggression will be up a little bit, but he's got to make sure it's tamed to a certain extent. You don't want to get yourself caught in a wreck, and then you have to battle it out for a championship next week. If you can clinch it, though, and the opportunity is there, you're going to strive for it. You want to make sure you can eliminate all that stress and then to clinch a championship at Daytona, the place where the season starts, the world center of racing. That would be a very special feat for him. I'm sure he's very excited for this race, and I think he can get it done today.
We'll just have to see how it all goes down tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And I mentioned that time because it's a little bit of a goofy time. We wanted to finish before the Xfinity race tomorrow night. So it is going to be a little bit earlier than a lot of these other night races that we've done, but hopefully you guys still stick around and enjoy it. It's always a fun race when we come to Daytona. No pit stops in tomorrow night's race either, so 32 straight laps to the finish. And Nathan Baird just went to the top of the board in the number 16. But I think the top position is going to change quite a bit. Obviously, we saw those packs in the uncharted qualifying session where they're going to be much bigger here in this session. And already, Sam at Odskin under 42 seconds here in qualifying.
Yeah, and that's what I'm also looking for in this session. You mentioned it, how you have 2 different packs sometimes competing. You know, I'm expecting that battle to kind of grow as we move through this race, and it might not be necessarily involving this pack. The packs are going to change because sometimes cars are going to pit throughout the run, but ultimately what you're going to see is you are going to see a battle between 2 different packs in terms of which one can get on the pole first. That will happen throughout this session.
We'll have to see how these guys improve right here. You got Tristan Allen, Brad Stover, LJ Sameto on this session, but it's Brett Ciro who's going to get the best run of those guys. He goes to the top of the board in the 04 machine for Buck Motorsports. Great run there for the 04 team there of Brett Ciro and his teammate right alongside him there, Tristan Allen, currently 15th quickest. It doesn't really matter too much where you start at Daytona, especially considering you can move your way from the back to the front relatively easy. However, like I mentioned, we saw in the Turkey Hill Series race that those guys who were starting up front generally finished up front, minus all the guys who wrecked out in that big wreck we had midway through the race. So definitely going to be interesting to see how it all shakes out in regards to who ends up finishing where in regards to where they start. But you definitely want to start well in this race because you can easily lead the pack all the way around for a pretty long time here at Daytona, as the cycle racing is a thing of the past here at the Daytona International Speedway. These guys tend to stay up front. That outside lane especially throughout the race will be strong. Iquan has him the fastest time right now in the number 64 machine. Have to see if a lot of these guys around him improve their time. Silas Orta in the 3 now. Silas Orta is in a position where he could still go in the Darlington next weekend with a chance at the championship. He comes in 53 points behind, and if he finishes 5, or should I say 6 positions or more ahead of Nathan Baird, minus all the bonus points, if he gains at least 6 points on Nathan Baird in tomorrow's race, then he will still have a chance at the championship heading into Darlington. Shane Lake is 41 points behind. He can still technically finish behind Nathan Baird and still have a chance. However, he's 41 points behind. It would be a lot if he won this race and Nathan Baird wrecked out. Shane Lake could actually technically go into Darlington the points lead, with the points lead, I should say, if Nathan Baird wrecks out, finishes last, and Shane Lake wins the race. Very possible that could happen, but Nathan Baird looking to win the pole. Now, unlike in the IndyCar Series, you do not get a bonus point for winning the pole here in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, so all that's going to give Nathan Baird is a good starting position for tomorrow's race, but a lot of guys just improved on their time. How about this pack right here? And Brad Stover, Sam Oskin, Mark Davidson, 30 machine of Patrick Smith, Brett Sierra, and Tristan Allen all beating the number 16's time. And then more guys coming in line. Fisher G, Zachary Fitzwater, Diego Pez, farther back in the field, improving on their times, all beating Nathan Baird, is now down in 10th.
We talked about 2 packs going at it back and forth. Well, I think we might have 3 or 4. I mean, that pack with that Brett Sierra was in, with that 10 cars, the 10 cars that were in that, they were running double file in perfect unison whenever we saw them. And I think that was a huge reason why they were able to get such a good lap. You know, they're going to start kind of mixing it up. It looks like getting 3 wide, that could hurt them, especially for guys in back to back. But the double foul, the way those guys were pushing each other, that was certainly a very productive job by all of them to get good laps in so far in this session.
Absolutely, and they may easily benefit from that. Brad Stover looking to start on the pole position for tomorrow night's Valvoline 400. And Sam Oskin. Now, Oskin still has a mathematical chance at the championship, but he comes in 70 points behind, so he's going to need Nathan Baird to wreck out tomorrow night. And that's pretty much all there is to it. So, guys like Sam Oskin, Jesse Turner 73 behind, Mark Davis and Larvin Alonso, they still have mathematical shots at the championship, but they're going to need a lot of other chase drivers, including and especially Nathan Baird, to have problems tomorrow night and finish outside the top 30 at least, if they're going to have any shot heading into Darlington for the finale next weekend. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how it all plays out in tomorrow night's race. Obviously, Daytona, there's that big variable of the big wreck, and it lots of times happens up front, and if Nathan Baird is in a bad position, he could get caught up in that one. So it's going to be a wild race. That's all I got to say. Very unpredictable here, this being the penultimate race of the season. Nathan Baird's got to be careful. The one super speedway that we had on the schedule last year near the end of the season was Talladega, when Nathan Baird was fighting for his championship last year, which he still clinched 2 races early. He finished last at Talladega. He wrecked out in that race, so he's got to be careful in tomorrow's 32-lap race here at Daytona. But either way, looks like these times have evened out. Brad Stover still with the fastest time, but still 2 minutes left in the session. We'll have to see how it all goes down. Go through the field, Sam Oskin, Fisher G, and Ace Garcia just went to the top of the board. The number 81 machine drafting off of this pack right here. I believe he ended up pulling up to the back bumper of Larvin Alonso right there. Looks to take the pole position away from Brad Stover here at Daytona. Great run there for Ace Garcia in the number 81. So Sam Oskin falls to 3rd. Fisher G is 4th. Mark Davidson is 5th. That is going to put Nathan Baird down in the 13th position. Here, Larvin Alonso is 8th. Got a lot of chasers starting up front. Jesse Turner, 15th. The number... see, the next guy in line, Alexander 22nd, who won the Daytona 500, is 22nd at the moment. Then the next chase driver in line, Shane Lake, who's looking to surpass Nathan Baird in the points, possibly. 41 points behind, 28th starting position for him. Silas Orta, 30th. The number see here. Number 92 of Reagan Whitlock, who is mathematically eliminated from the championship. 37th, and Ryan Arani 38th in the 68 machine. But a lot of these chase drivers starting up front, so that's going to really make things interesting for tomorrow's race. Ace Garcia, though, looking to start on the pole for the Valvoline 400, the number 81. We'll have to see if he can get his first win in over 2 years on Napa Fan in tomorrow's race.
I'll tell you what, I think we learned right there, as we saw with the 15 of Shane Lake. He came down pit road right in front of everybody in the pack a while ago. That is why we don't want to have pit stops at Daytona. There was such a violent checkup that you had the 64 of Equan Hazem. He just was running up towards this pack with the 81 of Ace Garcia that was in it. That was almost an incident. If he did not jam on the brakes in time, that could have been really bad.
It definitely could have, but no need for pit stops in tomorrow's race. Obviously, we tend to have a lot of guys cycle through the field, and we give them big enough fuel cells so they can make it the whole way through without any issue. Obviously, these super speedways, when they're in the big pack, it is difficult for them to come down the pit lane. So definitely looking forward to seeing how it plays out tomorrow. Top 10, Ace Garcia, Brad Stover, Samit Ozkim, Fisher G, Mark Davidson, Patrick Smith, Brett Sierra, Herja Larvin, Alonso, Tristan Allen, and last week's winner, Zachary Fitzwater, who won at Gateway for his 10th career Chick-fil-A Cup Series race victory. First driver to win 10 races in this series, looking for number 11 tomorrow night here at Daytona. And somebody else, I think it was Matt Dalio in the Valvoline machine, going up to second, drafting off of this pack late in the session. So it's looking like it's going to be Ace Garcia and Matt Dalio in the front row for tomorrow night's event.
15 seconds left to go. I doubt anyone else is really going to be able to put anything up there. I mean, we got to see if there's any groups coming around here off turn 4. But this might be a pack right here. They got 5 seconds. It could be a little bit close for the 13. Sebastian Kukla and everyone behind him, and I don't think they're going to get there.
They will not. It'll be Ace Garcia winning the pole for the Valvoline 400 alongside the Valvoline car of Matt Dalio. Then Brad Stover, Sam and Oskin, the highest chase driver starting in tomorrow night's race. Fisher G in 5th, Mark Davidson, Patrick Smith, Brett Sierra, Herja Larvin, Alonso, and Tristan Allen. 4 chase drivers in the top 10. And all 4 of them still have a mathematical chance at the championship. Fisher G is going to need a lot to happen if he's going to win the championship, but still technically has a chance. Going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. Our points leader, Nathan Barrett's going to be starting on the outside lane in 14th. That might not exactly be where he wants to start. Shane Lake, the guy who's trying to surpass him in the point standings, who has really been on a very good run lately. They're in the 30th starting position, also on the outside lane. But for a lot of those guys in the back, they're going to have a big possibility to move their way up to the front. However, I think for guys that are going to be starting on the inside lane up front, guys like Ace Garcia, Brad Stover, Fisher G, I think we're going to see them run up front for quite a bit in tomorrow night's race. So watch out for those guys possibly getting the race victory. See if we have any ties here in qualifying here at the Super Speedway. We tend to have a lot of ties that go on. But I don't think we had one here in this session, which is little uncommon for a super speedway qualifying session, but nobody ties, so that's how they will line up for tomorrow night's Valvoline 400. 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time over on Napa Fan. Congratulations to Ace Garcia for winning the pole here at Daytona. We'll see. Nathan Baird, will he clinch the championship one race early, or will we have a fight going into the Southern 500 next weekend? Thank you guys so much for watching. On behalf of Luke Rainey, we'll see you guys later on tonight for the Turkey Hill Truck Series at 9 p.m. Eastern Time over on Napa Fan for their first race of the season, the Featherlight Trailers 250. And tomorrow night, of course, the Valvoline 400. Thank you guys so much for watching once again, and I will see you guys later.